Welcome to Roll, Ponder, and Play, a podcast dedicated to crafting stories through the application of role-playing game engines, combined with creative thinking and propelled into the ether by the barest of prompts. I'm Jarrett Hess, taking on all the roles of game master, solo player, author, and narrator. Come with me on a journey, and together let us explore realms of shadow, danger, and wonder. One role can decide the fate of many things. In the previous episode, it remains winter and the party travels to the town of Inolulen. It is crammed full to the rafters with refugees, and there is no room in the inn. Unless you are Renchant and are able to wave about copious amounts of coin for yourself and speak in stirring tones, which he does, and he secures himself a well-furnished room, one with a bath, a fireplace, and luxurious white carpet. After a bath and a massage, while he enjoys his solitude reading a book by the fireplace and sipping his mulled wine, a commotion outside the window attracts his attention. Opening the window, he sees the back of the inn, and there a young girl is grabbed and taken against her will into an alleyway. It is Tatanya, the very same young woman who gave him his back massage earlier in the evening. Slightly drunk, he climbs out of the window and chases after her. After a battle with several bandits and their leader, he rescues the girl. Our mage is nearly killed in the battle, and he believes an extra massage is fair recompense for his pains. Grateful to be alive, she agrees and returns with him to his room. But now, on to episode 2 of Adventure 4 of The Shadow of the Demon. Tatanya puts the scimitar and crossbow in the corner of his room, and they enjoy the evening together, feasting on fine wine and fine cheeses. Renchant basks in yet another soul-cleansing bath and another pleasurable deep tissue massage. Twice he had suggested they move to the bed, but she resisted. Resisted? Who could resist Renchant? For a serving wench, Renchant thinks she shows remarkable intelligence as he pratters on about the many books and scrolls he has read. She responds in kind and seems genuinely interested. Most people's eyes glaze over, but not Tatanya's. "You have a fine head on your shoulders, girl," he says. "It's a compliment that it so well complements the rest of you." He smiles at his own wit and belatedly realizes that might have sounded a bit crass. But he was now on his 6th glass of wine and was a bit intoxicated, blessedly so, and didn't care that much. So he rolls a 2 on the intoxication chart. That means he gets advantage on charisma skill checks. Bam! He's going to try something. "You are wasted here, Tatanya." He leans closer to her and exudes his considerable charm. He had been sitting in his chair for some time now, dressed in a clean robe, his stockinged feet resting in her small, delicate hands as she massaged them. "Why don't you come with me?" he says as he leans back and nurses another goblet of mulled wine. "I could use a good masseuse on the road. I'll pay you 10 times what you get here if you stay on with me for, say, a year." "Tell me that you will, and it will have been the best decision you have ever made." She gets up, pensive, and he can tell she's mulling it over in that pretty little head of hers. She refills his silver goblet with more wine from the silver decanter that hisses and steams from some incantation he had half muttered under his breath a moment ago. "Well," he says, What do you think of my generous offer?"
10 times the pay, you say? But, Master Renchant, you don't even know what I make, she responds with a smile, handing him the steaming goblet. You don't even know me, and I certainly don't know you. He loves the way she says his name, the playful lilt in her voice.
"Oh, but you shall, girl. I promise that I will be the most intriguing person you have ever met. Think of the adventures we could have together. Me attached to you and your unique talents." He raises his silver goblet and looks her slender form up and down, meaningfully laying the charm on thick with a winning smile. "You could even become my apprentice. Think of that. I'll teach you what I know about magic, and you can do, well, odd jobs for me," he says airily.
Where would we go? She asks, with eyes wide and innocent.
The world is wide open, ripe for adventure, lass. But we're going south, far south, to where the winds are warm and the landscape is open with vast dunes of white sand.
Sounds hot.
I'll buy you a silken desert dress. It'll feel like the barest breath of air on your skin. So fair, and I must say, I'm quite interested to see how you would look in such a gown. Quite fetching, I'd say, quite fetching indeed. More fetching, in fact, than the Queen of Kendrasa, and believe you me, she was renowned among women as one of the most beautiful of the desert people. So he got an 18 total on his persuasion.
Not bad, Master Renchant, not bad at all.
Tatanya smiles and leans towards him.
Fine, I'll go with you, but on one condition.
Anything, my dear.
If I am to be so closely attached to you, she places a hand on his knee. With me being a young girl and you a solitary, handsome bachelor, I would have certain assurances as to my well-being.
He raised an eyebrow and chuckled. Of course, of course. Say on.
I shall be more than your apprentice, Renchant. She moves even closer to him, and he can smell the heady scent of light rose water on her neck. Suddenly she is on his lap, with one arm around his neck, caressing his neck gently, sending electric thrills of pleasure coursing through his spine. How about I also be your friend, your confidant, and your lover? She looks at him with those liquid eyes.
I am liking this arrangement more and more, Renchant smiles and pulls her closer. Very well, I accept.
I thought you might. I promise I shall be all those things and more, if... She pauses meaningfully.
Yes? He can barely hear her as he gently kisses her shoulder and then her neck. Magic was his passion, but this creature, this girl, probably a bit more than half his age, and yet she possessed a passion that was a magic all its own. Anything.
She pulls away slightly and touches his nose. If you marry me.
Marry.
The word hits him like an ogre's club, and sputtering, poleaxed, he stands up, so suddenly startled that he sends her falling with a yelp onto her rump on the carpeted floor. The royal splash of wine mars the white fur carpet.
What did you say? He asks and wipes wine from one hand onto a nearby white towel.
Don't pretend you didn't hear me, she pouts, and moves into a sideways sitting position, tucking her legs to the side under her, her dark hair glistening around her form, framing her. Her simple, modest white dress molds to her figure in distracting ways. You saved my life, Master Renchant, she beams up at him. I already love you for that, and I am interested in you and what you do. But I am a proper girl, not some whore to be used and cast aside. I will be wed before... You know, she glances at the bed and blushes.
Wed? The thought bounces inside his head like an unexploded firework. She was beautiful, there was no denying that, but marriage? His analytical brain started firing alarm bells. Never in his life had marriage ever crossed his mind. He had seen that kind of thing destroy too many happy friendships. Marriage? Him? With her? It was preposterous. Out of the question. He was married to his research, his books, his magic. That was his true passion, wasn't it? His head felt fuzzy. He had had too much to drink. He knew it made him extra charming, of course, but he couldn't help feeling something had backfired here. But I barely know you, he says, backpedaling the deal, and you barely know me.
I know, I already said that earlier.
Marriage? Do you even know what you're asking? He asks.
You look frightened, Renchant. Are you unwell?
Such an alluring smile. Hells and demons. Are you sure you won't just come along as a friend, just for the fun of it? The way she tilts her head and smiles back at him with those eyes. She slowly shakes her head, still smiling at him. The motion, her form, those eyes, it makes his gut ache with desire.
I'm surprised at you, Renchant, and at most men. Why would you settle for spending one night with me in some fleeting fling of passion rather than have me, the real me, devoted and joined at your side for all time?
He hadn't thought of it like that.
Why, indeed?
But this was happening too quickly. I just don't think we should rush into something so important as marriage.
Could it be that you're afraid of commitment? I didn't think you were afraid of anything.
He stands up, anxious, and begins to pace. He snatches up the goblet from the carpet, refills it steaming and hot from the decanter, and takes a long drink. Blast, he needed the fortitude it gave. The liquid scalded his mouth, and he gulped it down too quickly and began coughing and sputtering. He touches the decanter, mutters an incantation to chill it to something more manageable. I'm not afraid, girl, but we have to know this will work. What if we're not compatible? We should at least have an engagement first, he sputters. He couldn't believe he had just said that.
Engaged? Oh, how sweet! Very well, I accept. She claps her hands together and beams up at him. Then suddenly she's hugging him awkwardly, causing him to nearly spill the goblet of wine.
Girl, He gently pushes her away with one hand. Are you sure? Stars above, I'm old enough to be your father. What do you see in me? Certainly not romance.
You think you're not distinguished enough? She asks, playful again. Not handsome enough? Not young enough for romance? She sighs and moves towards him again. Taking the goblet from his hands, drinking some herself. She sets it down on a small table near his chair. You are some years older than I, 'tis true, but you are not elderly. You are still young and strong. What, in your mid-30s, maybe? And you have a fine physique. For a book-learned man, anyway.
Well, yes, I do try to take care of myself, he says, and he hopes the grin doesn't look too foolish. He feels the heat rising on his face. This conversation was absolutely ridiculous. I'm no fool, Master Renchant. You are right about my prospects here. With so many refugees and war threatening on the horizon, there is little for me here. You are a man with power and wealth. I know that you will go places, and I will help you. In turn, you'll help me. Think what we could do together. Indeed. His face felt warm again. He pulls at his beard. Being married to me will not be easy. And yet, to have such a charming specimen at his side, he deserved that, didn't he? The best things in life are never easy.
That's what my father always said.
Your father? Who is your father? Gods above, who are you?
I'm Tatanya, or Tatanya. She smiles up at him, again with those bewitching dark eyes. I'm not particular.
I know that, but I know nothing about you.
I'm a mystery, she smiles enigmatically in her playful way. You like mysteries. You spoke so much about how many magical mysteries were yet to be had, contained in those musty old tomes you haven't read.
I do like mysteries. I like them to be uncovered and discovered. He sinks down once more into his chair. So, tell me, who are you? Tatanya, the serving girl?
What if I told you I was a mere peasant girl, the daughter of a farmer? Would that spoil things?
You aren't. I can tell you know how to read. The way you speak, you have a keen intelligence and wit.
Are you saying a farm girl cannot learn how to read, that they cannot be intelligent?
Certainly they can be, but few have the time nor the inclination for reading. You have been tutored, he says, wagging a finger at her, in the king's own tongue as well. I can hear it in every word you say.
She smiles at him and winks, and then gives a courtly bow. You have found me out. I am not a daughter of a farmer. I am, in fact, the daughter of Sir Colin Bolstead. Have you heard of him?
He gets an 11 on his history check. No. Should I have?
He is, was a knight of the realm and the Duke of Oakenwatch.
Renchant finds her back on his lap,
and she's now tracing her fingers atop his hand, her head on his shoulder. He's been imprisoned on charges of treachery. It's all a misunderstanding, of course.
She blinks up at him. Of course, he mutters, pulling at one end of his mustache.
I'll need your help with that at some point.
Of course, he says automatically.
Good. They stare at each other for a while. Then her lips find his, and she kisses him long and deep. When she pulls away, he's shocked to see his own desire mirrored in her eyes. Well, I had better get to bed. She stands up slowly, one hand lingering on his shoulder. She looks down at him. You'll be here in the morning. You won't run off, will you? We are engaged, after all.
Run off? Me? A sudden coughing fit causes him to reach for the wine goblet again.
She folds her arms and looks at him with a stern expression, tilted head, expectant. Like a demanding little queen, he thinks. Stars and demons, but who was this girl?
I'll be here, he finally answers after his bracing gulp of wine.
Promise?
Of course, he said. Then louder, of course, and he gives her a big winning smile.
She flashes an answering grin that brightens the room and leans down and kisses his nose. Then with a twirl she spins away, causing her white dress to flare dangerously above her calf. His heartbeat is fast and heady as he watches her skip out of the room, humming to herself. He leans back slowly into his chair and sinks down further into the cushions, both hands clutching the silver goblet as if it were a lifeline.
Engaged. He was engaged.
With trembling hands, he gulps the rest of the wine feverishly. Then, coming up for air, he gasps,
Upon my magic, what just happened?
I'll tell you what just happened, Master Renchant. What we are witnessing is a partial fulfillment of the oracle results we rolled up last episode. We had asked the oracle, did anyone of ill repute see him flashing his gold about? And we got a likely and a yes and, with a twist, an emotional event / changes the goal. What's the emotional event? We got mistrust, a plot, and dangerously cute.
The bandits trying to lure him outside in episode 1 by capturing his beautiful serving girl was a fulfillment of the mistrust, a plot, and partial fulfillment of Dangerously Cute. But Dangerously Cute, that oracle result still has a bit more mileage before it's completely resolved. Has Renchant, the master mage, been outwitted by a slip of a girl? Will he flee in the face of a whirlwind engagement? For all that and more, stay tuned for the next episode of Shadow of the Demon. Thank you for joining us, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed what you experienced. If you would like to support Roll, Ponder, and Play, you can do so in a number of ways. You can give the show a positive review on your podcatcher of choice. You can share the show with your friends and family and on your socials. Nothing beats word of mouth as a way to bring in new listeners. You can join my Patreon at patreon.com/Roll, Ponder, and Play. There you can find show notes and transcripts, as well as other projects I'm involved in. And paid subscribers get access to subscriber-only episodes, shows, and other content. Finally, you can simply reach out to me and say hello. Comments from you are what inspire me to keep doing this, and I'd sincerely love to hear what you think of the show. To do so, you can find me on my Patreon, or on Discord at Roll, Ponder, and Play, or by email at rollponderandplay@gmail.com. Until we meet again on Roll, Ponder, and Play, may your own dice rolls ever bring you success.